We're wondering, are we going to see, Sentry and Thor butt heads?
Under the
in
presumption
Doomsday?
that a key element of Doomsday is new Avengers versus Sam Wilson, OG Avengers.
Right. Because we know from the post-credit scene, right? They're litigious right now. It's been 14 months since the event of Thunderbolts, and they're not in a good place. As Sentry gets more powerful, on his side, if that also just gives more power to the Void, and it finds a way to bulk up and become more like a physical manifestation that can physically fight. Welcome back to the Breakroom. Hey, are we getting ready to see Sentry rip Thor in half? Also, Peacemaker is back on the menu, boys. Yes. It's the headline show. Hit that graphic.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Barrick, and joining me today, he got lost in the void, but found it boring since he has no shame. It's Zach Huddleston.
My depression room is a basement.
Also,
let me take that again.
Do that one again.
My depression room is a golden corral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice try. Nice try. This guy's just trying to get a free meal ticket.
Also joining us today, he thinks Guy Gardner looks great in his bowl cut. It's Erik Voss.
Hey, I prefer my guy cut, right? Wolverine can't get cut, but Guy Gardner
that was
can.
Friday's show. How could you? We got lots to talk about on the show today, including new Thunderbolts posters teasing Sentry's future. We got a Peacemaker trailer, and Upfronts are happening right now. Plus, later in the show today, we'll talk about The Last of Us Episode 5. But before we get to all that, we want to remind you to check out nerdriot.shop, where right now you can get your own new Avengers with a Z, T.
Wow.
That's right. We beat the copyright, folks. There's also some great Thunderbolts merch up on the site right now, and you can also get some Last of Us merch. We have shirts featuring Ellie's tattoo. Also a tote. You get a lovely tote. We got a WLF hat. I see nothing wrong with this organization. Don't mind repping it. And lots of good stuff on there. Also tons of stuff from other fandoms. We got a big summer coming. Lots of great stuff coming to the site soon. Check it out. nerdriot.shop. Great way to support the channel over there. Okay, let's bust into some headlines, folks. A new Thunderbolts poster came out last week, and it shows the group of new Avengers paired with some interesting shadows. You can see the new posters on the left there. This is kind of reminiscent of an old Avengers Endgame poster.
I remember that one.
I don't remember ever seeing that one, but they had a bunch at the time.
Yeah.
But we want to focus on the new Avengers poster here, because the old Avengers Endgame poster, the shadows kind of reflected who the people were fighting for. You know, these were the people they were trying to bring these folks back. Some interesting pairings there.
Should we go through the old one?
Yeah.
Just so we can see what
the old one on your right there, right?
You have, let's see, Bruce Banner is avenging Doctor Strange on the right here.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Hawkeye avenging Wanda, which is interesting because you see the source. They didn't really have a conversation until, after Tony Stark's funeral.
Yeah. Well, and he was also like, I've been mind controlled before, because he was mind controlled in the first Avengers movie. He's like, not happening again.
By her? Yeah.
No, he was mind controlled by Loki in the first movie.
You're right.
And when she was mind controlling people in the second movie, he's like, we've already done this plot.
If we can bring back up that acid again, Brian. We had Iron Man avenging, I believe that's Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
We have Captain America, Steve Rogers avenging,
It's Bucky with his big gun.
Yeah.
Which also dissolved.
And then that looks like Natasha with Nick Fury?
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Natasha and Nick Fury. He brought her in from the folds.
Okay. And then Thor avenging Loki. Okay, and then on this one, the Thunderbolts one, starting from the left, we have, who is that? Ghost avenging...
Or fighting with Hawkeye, I think that is, because it looks like arrows, right?
Yeah, that does look like a quiver over the shoulder. Yeah.
Okay.
Either fighting with or comparing themselves to this character.
The equivalent?
Yeah.
Then we have John Walker with...
Or no, that's Red Guardian, isn't it?
Red Guardian with...
The Hulk?
Hulk. Yeah, he's kind of the Hulk. He's the muscle of the group.
Big on big. Yeah.
Yelena is with Natasha. Makes sense. And then we have Bucky with...
Is that supposed to be...
I think it's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because it's like a
Just comparing that silhouette to the original poster silhouette, that's a similar...
Okay, so kind of like the man within the establishment, I guess. He's a congressman.
I mean, they have old
He has a metal arm.
They have old beef from Civil War.
Yeah.
If this is like a beefin' poster...
Oh,
If these are the people they're beefing with.
And yeah, Jake Schreier has history with beef, for sure.
It's true.
John Walker's paired with Steve Rogers, yeah.
Or is that Sam Wilson?
With the shield. Interesting. He seems to have more of an obsession with the Captain America legacy. Mm-hmm. Like he was viewed as a successor to Steve Rogers.
Don't you think they would have given a Sam Wilson silhouette some kind of a wing?
Some kind of wings.
Yeah,
you're
right.
It's possible though. And then we have, this is our focal character.
Yeah, here's what we're most concerned about.
Sentry, Bob Reynolds with Thor. And Thor is carrying Stormbreaker. And I know the Stormbreaker battle axe is an homage to the Endgame version of it, right? But it's just interesting now that we're looking ahead to Doomsday. And the more Lewis Pullman has been asked about it, how he wants to be paired up with Thor, we have this question of why is Thor crying? Doesn't it? And then even Sentry in the movie was like, hey, you said the Avengers contains at least one god.
Right.
Shouldn't I be considered a god? It feels like we're going to get a Sentry versus Thor matchup in Doomsday, right?
Yeah, and our concern too is in the comics. Sentry is well known for ripping a god a twain, or ripping them in half. Right? It was Ares.
Ares, yeah.
Who is a god? I don't know if Ares is considered as strong as Thor. I don't know your god levels at that stage, but he rips them apart. Now they haven't really introduced Ares in the MCU. Was Ares like in the background of
No.
Thor 5 or anything?
We didn't,
because Ares was a big character in the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Because the comic books love any non-copyrighted material that they
right.
use.
Greek
Hence
gods.
Thor and Loki and stuff. Like they used established stuff that was in public domain.
That's right. Mount Olympus belongs to us all.
They can't take it from us. So we're wondering, are we going to see Sentry and Thor butt heads in some way?
Under the
in
presumption
Doomsday?
that a key element of Doomsday is new Avengers versus Sam Wilson, OG Avengers.
Right.
Maybe there is a battle between the two at some point, that it gets that heated, or they're somehow pitted against each other.
Because we know from the post-credit scene, right? They're litigious right now. It's been 14 months since the events of Thunderbolts, and they're not in a good place. They've had plenty of time to work things out, and things have not gone well. Bucky's conversation with Sam didn't go well. So they might be fighting. And we also know from Deadpool and Wolverine, Thor's got to cry at some point. Someone's got to get Thor crying.
Yeah. Now, would Thor cry if he were ripped in half? Can you rip Thor in half that way? Probably. I mean, my question is, like, is Sentry more dangerous with his psychological void that he takes him to, or with his physical powers that he has? I would say, like, I think the Avengers, Sam Wilson's Avengers, have more to fear from the void that he takes them to and traps them in.
Right, yeah.
I'm curious to see if, like, Thor, as an Asgardian, who's several thousands of years old, might have some deeper context and understanding of what the void is and where it comes from. The Thunderbolts movie makes it seem like the void is just a manifestation of our shame, of our dark emotions, or just our inability to feel anything after we felt all these dark things. In the comics, the void is suggested to have biblical origins, pre-biblical origins, and I'd just be curious if, like, the Asgardians had history with the void when it took a different shape at Asgard or somewhere else in the cosmos, and that's why, like, they're so afraid. That's why the Avengers are just so suspicious of the new Avengers and not sharing information with them on whatever is happening out in space. And they're like, Bob Reynolds is not sweet Bob who does the dishes. Bob Reynolds now contains this thing called the Void, which is the most dangerous thing that we know exists out there. So Thor, I don't know, maybe he's taken to his shame room. But, like, what is Thor's shame room? Is it Loki? Seeing Loki die at Thanos'
Loki
hands
die over and over again. Maybe, like, his conquesting days, back when he was younger, working with Odin, going around beating up people in the different 9 realms. Not as much as, like, Hela, right? Mm-hmm. Hela made it seem like her time with Odin, it was much darker. Like, they were doing more conquering. Whereas Thor and Loki's time with Odin, it was more of, like, they're acting like the police. Basically showing up, pushing people apart, and then leaving again. Not conquering so much.
That's right. They were policing the cosmos. Or just being kind of like a paternalist governing force. I think it'd be fun in Doomsday to see shame rooms that revisit things from Infinity War and Endgame, and, like, that shame room could just be like Loki's death over and over again. You know, we saw Loki in kind of a TVA shame room in the Loki series with Lady Sif, like after he pranked her, and that was like on a loop. And I just found the idea of like being stuck in a loop through this kind of like Black Mirror-esque type of punishment chamber is just parallel to what we saw in Thunderbolts, how it was like a physical room that you had to like break out of, and it occurred on a loop. Like you just go back through it again and again and again. And I don't know if that was intentional, probably not, but like there's only so many ways you can depict shame and shame spirals. Yeah.
One of our sponsors today is Mando. Spring is in the air, the weather's heating up, and that means we're all remembering exactly what we smell like when it's hot outside. If you don't want a bubble of body odor announcing your presence, try sticking it to your stink with Mando. Mando's whole body deodorant comes in 3 forms: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long Saturdays at the beach, Sundays at the park, and Monday mornings when you just want to smell good. Mando stops odor before it starts, and it's safe to use on your entire body, pits, package, and feet, and everywhere in between. Mando comes in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. I, myself, I'm a Bourbon Leather guy, sometimes a little Mount Fuji if I'm feeling crazy. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. For instance, their mini body wash and deodorant wipes. I love those deodorant wipes. And you also get free shipping with this deal. As a special offer for new listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Breakroom at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. How was that spelling? I think pretty good. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with a Mando.
Do you guys think the answer to why is Thor crying, will that be answered in Doomsday, or will we have to wait for Secret Wars? Is it something bigger beyond?
They might make us wait for Secret Wars.
Don't you think it could also very easily be like a very tossed off joke? Like, so a lot of dust got released by that particle blast. Single tear. Deadpool pointing over in the corner.
Like leaps into his arms or something.
That's why?
That's why you're crying?
Yeah, I would say like it will be answered just because Paradox's answer in that moment was like, oh, it's some kind of distant future.
Yeah.
Like that felt like a tease. Like that was a line inserted to set up Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah.
I wonder if the Void we'll see it take a more physical manifestation at some point. Like in the comics, it's often depicted as like this very monstrous, also almost like Venom symbiote-esque like creature. I love the way they did it in the movie. I think it makes a lot of sense in like Thunderbolts, but I'm wondering if as Sentry gets more powerful, on his side, if that also just like gives more power to the Void and it finds a way to bulk up and become more like a physical manifestation that can physically fight. Because no one really fought the Void version of Sentry. I mean,
other than Bob himself.
In the shame room, but I don't consider that like real, right? That was just like internal.
Oh, I see.
No one was like flying around the city punching.
Right.
They tried to shoot at him,
yeah.
and then the bullets just kind of went.
Yeah.
Like shooting smoke.
Right.
Yeah, I would love it if there's a Super Saiyan Void level or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like you maybe need to call upon that to defeat a big bad like a Doom or something. That could be really cool.
Yeah, could the Void, shadow, could he void people, flatten them into shadows? Can he do that to anybody? Can he do that
no matter
to
the
Thor?
power level?
Can he do that to Doctor Strange? Can he do that to Wanda Maximoff? To God Emperor Doom? Could he do that to Doctor Doom?
Interesting.
Like, this is a new, what do you guys think? Like, this is like a new ability that Thunderbolts
It does, it reminds me of any time they have like a very superpowered individual. You have to find a way to nerf it in some interesting way, right? Classically, the show Heroes, the character of Hero, who could travel through time very easily, they constantly had to nerf it because it would just be too easy to go around and fix things. So I'm wondering if there's a way they'll find a way to like nerf the Void's powers in some way.
Well, don't you think?
Or is it just that Bob won't allow the Void to come out?
That's the natural answer, right? Like that, like the internal turmoil of Bob, like him trying to use Sentry powers without turning full black suit or whatever, right? Like, well, and him kind of always, like an earlier version of Bruce Banner Hulk before he kind of became one with his Hulkified self.
Smart Hulk.
Right? Like
I blended the two.
Like Bob has to fight but not get too angry, or he might flip the switch or something like that. Yeah.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always depressed.
Is that his kryptonite, just like Xanax or Lexapro or something? You know,
it just feels better about himself.
Therapy.
It's possible. Now, Jessica has talked about the idea that like if they want to make the Void this kind of cosmic elder entity, a la, like Lady Death, right? Death taking a personification of a person. If the Void is somehow tied to like the dark dimension, like Dormammu or the Dweller in Darkness, all these weird things we've had in the MCU that kind of come from a dark magic place. If that's true about the Void, then I think like Doctor Strange and Clea have a good way to fight the Void, right? If they can use magic to stop whatever powers it has. But if it's also a situation where if people around it, if everyone's got like a little bit of darkness inside of them and that's what fuels it, how do you ever stop that? You can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody feel good about themselves all the time.
I like a version of Sentry / Void that is more chaotic, right? Less therapeutic, right? Like I like that. Like certainly the way Thunderbolts ends, he's kind of conquered some of his demons, but like he's not healthy. No, like I still want a damaged dude. That's like it's like anybody that's ever been in recovery. It's not something you cure and you're done with, right? It's something you're constantly working on. Like, I hope that's a core part of his character going forward, right? That he's always trying to keep that shadow at bay, and it never gets easier.
I mean, even in the poster, right? It's not Sentry in his outfit; it's Bob, just
in his scrubs.
Right. Scrubs, the street clothes.
One of the best cosplays for a lazy bum like me, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys find it weird how at the end of Thunderbolts, so once they got into the shame room, Yelena finds Bob in his childhood attic where he would go when his father was being abusive, and he's wearing what he wore as a kid, the big blue sweater, the corduroy pants. Like he's wearing an adult-sized version of that now, but it's kind of like in Eternal Sunshine when Jim Carrey's wearing his childhood PJs, but he's like a full-size, adult-size Jim Carrey.
Or in Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal.
A grown man.
A grown man wearing a giant diaper.
With a shaved head and
the weird curly hair.
Oh my God. But yeah, so that's the idea. He wears that when they loop back through the shame version of the Malaysian building where he in the lab and he's fighting, the mental projection of the Void. Once he gets out of that, he is back dressed like that. He's like in the real world wearing his childhood clothes. Why? Like, why is he still wearing that outfit? When he gets out of it?
The physics of being able to poof people away and bring them back, also extends to being able to manifest new clothing items.
Like he's wearing those. It was a choice to have him wear that outfit because he was returning to this traumatic memory. Like what you were wearing in that traumatic memory. If your dark feelings are manifesting those clothes, like the fact that you're still wearing it. It luckily looks pretty normal in profile, but imagine if it was for me, there was a glow-in-the-dark Goosebumps shirt that had the barking ghost cover on it of the dog, and the dog's gnashing teeth would glow in the dark, and I thought it was really cool. Imagine if 8-year-old Erik, imagine if I'm just standing in the middle of the street wearing this Goosebumps shirt. I guess I do wear comic book media shirts now as a 37-year-old man, so it's not that weird. But I'm just saying, if I were wearing my Batman pajamas, it would be very weird.
For me, I'd come out with pants that have my own feces inside of them. That would be where I return from my shame room.
What age is this?
Way too old. No diaper involved.
The canon answer could be that he's carrying it with him, much like he's carrying the clothing.
You never rid yourself of it.
Yeah. Also, what happened to that gold costume? Where is that now? Did he leave that in the shame room?
Yeah, I guess that's something they don't really answer in the movie is the Void's ability to manipulate reality. It's not just you're in your own head. It physically takes you out of this dimension and puts you into a different place where those things can be altered. Yeah, because I did see people mention that after the movie. It's where did his costume go? We don't know. And maybe he's in that outfit because that is at the moment he needs to make that healing is from that moment, and staying in those clothes no longer traumatizes him, so he's comfortable in them, and that's just or maybe he just really liked it.
I think an empty Sentry suit is on the penthouse level floor of Avengers Tower.
Oh, like it's back up there? Yeah.
Right. So it just left the suit he was wearing, and then a little puddle of blonde hair dye is there. Because
because his hair's back.
It stripped his hair of the hair
Staining
dye.
those parquet floors.
Because that's the other, we don't see him turn into the void, right? Like they leave, and then you hear the gasps and the pointing on the street. And
Well, you see the shadows like claim his body a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
then,
true.
But that's it. You don't know what it does to his clothes. Yeah. Maybe, do you think he, there were other rooms? At some point, he did change into a chicken costume, right? So, he got to that attic after going through other shameful memories of his past, including the chicken outfit. Yeah. So maybe he took off that to get into the chicken outfit, and then it's somewhere on that, whatever, Alfredo's bail bonds storage
But he was still there when the chicken was fighting them, but he was still standing there.
Yeah, he's not inside that chicken.
He wasn't fighting them in that moment.
Because Bucky punches the chicken.
Was there anything inside that chicken suit?
Yeah, who is it? Or was it just the void in the chicken suit?
I think it was a hollow chicken suit, and the chicken suit had come
you take off the chicken head, and it's the little Russian girl who's getting shot in the woods. She's taking all the L's. She's also
the little snow princess.
She's also Bob's mom downstairs. Poor girl.
She's taking all the L's. Sorry, you're gonna have to read multiple parts here in the void.
Do I get paid 3 times?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
To say that Bob's mom is taking an L.
I wouldn't call it a W. That's tough.
What's our shame room like, huh?
This is our shame moment.
Shame stream?
One of our sponsors today is Hims. If you've been feeling like the love of your life has been overshadowed by erectile dysfunction, Hims is here to help. With Hims, you'll be able to lift Mjolnir again in no time. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable tablets, Viagra, Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% less. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor visits. You just fill out an intake form on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option for you. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/breakroom. That's HIMS.com/breakroom for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/breakroom. The featured products include compound products which are not approved nor verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies on product and subscription plan. But in the end, I do, this poster, they put it out. I'm sure there was a long discussion about it, right? What shadows meet where. I'm sure there was moving stuff around. But it does seem like characters that they would be pitting against each other. The only one that doesn't really jibe for that knowledge for me is necessarily Yelena and Natasha kind of being at odds.
Well, what makes you think these are even getting pitted against each other versus these are just the equivalents?
I think it's
the Avengers versus these are the new Avengers you don't yet know.
Right. And they fill that role on the team somehow.
Yeah. Big muscle guy, our big muscle guy. Their smart guy, our smart guy, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't really know how who is the one on the far left?
Ghost and Hawkeye?
Or there's one where it's and Doctor Strange. No, wait, no.
That was from the old.
Okay. Yeah, there's some that don't really work. I would argue though that I would swap Thor and Hulk. So that, Red Guardian is kind of like Thor in that he's this comedic, muscular guy with an accent.
Who doesn't really understand the culture as much.
Yeah. And then who's got this weird softy side, but the softy side is kind of comedic a little bit. Big beard, or I don't know, facial hair is a big part of it. Whereas I think Sentry is more like the Hulk in that he can't really control the monster, and he has this kind of mental, psychological struggle with this other self that's in him.
Good note.
So I think it is intentional in a way, they want us to see him as the godly Thor figure, so that if they were to have the Seinfeld moment of the Bizarro, George, Terry, and Kramer, who lines up with each other, and it's these.
Thor hasn't been on Earth since Endgame, right? He came back to Asgard. He goes, Jane. But I don't know if he's had a conversation with Sam Wilson. If Sam Wilson calls up Thor, he's like, my guy, I'm getting the Avengers back together with an S. We're big time. We're going to go up against another Avengers group. And Thor's like, I did the whole Civil War thing already. I don't want to do it. He's like, listen, I need you. I need you in this fight, okay? And I need you to fight Sentry. This thing that has like a dark void. And if it attaches to you, you're going to go to a dark place. Is Thor going to answer that call? Or is Thor just going to be like, I got a kid now.
Maybe Thor needs another incentive. Maybe somebody that he cares about is in danger or harmed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I've made the argument that because Thor and Banner and Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel were not there for Civil War, that they would be more okay with two Avengers squads feuding with each other. I think Sam Wilson doesn't want to be fighting. I think he would want to like reach out to a lot of these guys. Like he ended on pretty good terms with John Walker. He's on good terms with Bucky Barnes. Right. I don't think he'd be on bad terms with the others.
I think he mostly mistrusts Val, right?
Yes.
And what she's
it's Val. I think it's Val, and I think it's the threat of Sentry. So, yeah, like I think the fact that so many of them were sidelined from the last Civil War conflict makes them more likely to push it now. I don't think it's Sam Wilson who's leading that charge.
Okay.
I just don't.
Fair enough.
Let's all be friends. The Avengers can take all.
Yeah. If you want to see Sentry rip someone in half, who would you like it to be? Put it in the comments below.
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. Ooh. He just saved $8. Also, at the end of last week, we got our first trailer for Peacemaker Season 2. Yeah. And we got to look at some characters we can expect to see added to the DCU. Some we saw a little bit quickly in the Superman teaser already. But we got our look at Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord.
Nice.
There he is. You might remember the Maxwell Lord from Wonder Woman 84, played by Pedro Pascal. This is different Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
And in this situation, it looks like he's working with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl to kind of like set up an expanded Justice League team, which is, I guess is something originally in the comics. There's
they had the JL there.
Guy Gardner. In the comics, like Maxwell Lord set up like kind of the international Justice League. He was like a good guy at first, because in Wonder Woman 84, he's the antagonist.
Yeah.
Or one of the antagonists. But in this, it seems like in the DCU, they're going to set up Maxwell Lord initially as a good guy businessman, helping the Justice League expand. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't need Maxwell Lord. Right now, we're now just entering the DCU. I don't need him to be a villain right now.
And we know he's going to be in Superman too, right?
Yeah.
So
I think a small role in Superman. Yeah. We'll know more on Wednesday.
And mocapping what 40 to 50 side characters.
Probably the kaiju that Superman fights in Downtown Metropolis was mocapped by Sean Gunn.
You can bring up that image of Isabella Merced again as Hawkgirl, specifically the Kendra Saunders version.
Having quite a week on the extended HBO universe, Isabella Merced.
That's right. I do like you pointing out like the JL, the like matching kind of like Justice League outfits, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Like the Justice League kind of has like a uniform look. That's like a lot of fun. We also got in this trailer, we saw Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr.
In live action.
Live action, baby. Now, he's voiced this character on Creature Commandos. And they did point out in the trailer that, Peacemaker was like, does he know I killed his son? And she's like, yeah, he knows. And then, of course...
Now, kind of quick point of order.
Yeah.
He has gray hair in Creature Commandos.
Right.
Yes.
Black hair on this show.
Right.
Yes.
Is there no thought given to
if only there was a way for men to change the color of their hair.
Are they going to explain it
men.
in this show? They're going to be like, we're going to see him in the mirror dying.
You think Rick Flag Sr. has to do his own hair? The man's going to a salon.
We're paying for it. But why throughout the entirety of Creature Commandos is he gray haired any other?
Because James Gunn wanted a jacked version of himself to star Creature Commandos.
I think if you watch Creature Commandos, I think Rick Flag Sr. looks like a version of James Gunn that is jacked and cut and angular. And I do think the princess, I forget her name.
Maria Bakalova.
Yeah. I think her character kind of looks like James Gunn's
Actual wife.
Actual
Who
wife.
appears in Peacemaker.
Who also appears in Peacemaker. I don't have an image of that
It's
one.
all a weird kink. I mean, fair play, but also then why can't Frank Grillo dye his hair gray?
I don't know. Maybe Grillo goes like, I don't go gray.
Dye his hair gray? I mean, Frank Grillo.
It'll come in Frank Graylo.
Yeah, we know what that. We know what them locks is really looking like.
Yeah,
you know,
some natural gray in there. What happened,
at least
Frank? You're also the father of another character who we've already seen on the show. You could be older.
I know. Father of a character who's not like a teenager. No. Father of a man in his 30s. You're allowed to show your age.
Are the flags, they're not like super power. They're just peak humans. They don't have
They don't have power. They're just really good fighters and tactical.
It is established that like Frank Grillo. Rick Flag Sr. had Rick Flag at a very young, like, right away. Like, as like
14?
18.
13, 14?
15?
9-year-old, and it was his teacher. No, I think he was like 17, 18, like, you know, in the military, has a kid, and then it like goes off to be a Green Beret or whatever, and it's not a good dad. Hence the, you know, the combativeness.
But like also still your son follows in your exact same footsteps.
Yes. Well, I think Amanda Waller sees to that, right? Amanda Waller goes in and recruits Rick Flag Jr.
Let's get a Flags of Our Fathers spin-off show.
That's a good. I like it.
Our flag means daddy death. I don't know. What are some other shows we can?
Our flag means daddy death is pretty good.
Son death, I guess, would have been better. Daddy's alive.
And then also in the trailer, which I thought was a lot of fun, 2 Peacemakers.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So many ways this could go. Mm-hmm. One is Clayface.
Right. Oh yeah, you could have Clayface.
I love that too. But my initial thought is it's like an acid trip, right?
Right.
Like,
it's probably
we see literally the shot right before this is Peacemaker walking through a door, but it's just like a door frame set up in a weird space, and like literally the name of the band, The Doors, is based on like early LSD experimentation. Where it was like you walk through different doors of your subconscious or whatever.
I like that idea.
I think it might be also a multi-dimensional thing, because as he walks into this room, there's a poster for the band Hanoi Rocks, which they reference in the first season of Peacemaker.
Hair metal band, yeah.
But in Hanoi Rocks is spelled ROCKS. On this poster, it's ROXX. So I think they're establishing this is like an Elseworld, right?
So we could be looking at the DCEU Peacemaker versus the DCU Peacemaker.
James Gunn did say he will tie up that loose end of how Peacemaker interacted with members of the DCU.
So that can explain why like Jason Momoa is not Aquaman in this universe. The first episode, we see season 2 Peacemaker kills season 1 Peacemaker as like meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh my god.
So yeah, a lot of fun. I enjoyed the first season of Peacemaker. It was certainly better than I expected it to be. It was a lot of fun. You know, it felt like Suicide Squad, obviously with the James Gunn of it all. The Suicide Squad.
I look forward to. I agree. I also enjoyed it, but like I look forward to if half of the things we just talked about could be true, like a season 2 of Peacemaker that like has any restrictions taken off. Like James Gunn is literally the boss.
He can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. Like maybe they can get meta and weird in ways that maybe it wasn't allowed to in the first season. I mean, the first season was a ton of fun, but it was a pretty straightforward, linear story, right? But like, I don't know if they could play with more like storytelling and structure and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool too.
It was also, I mean, that first season like established so many things that existed in that universe to like Batmite. All these weird little random characters that were referenced both by Peacemaker and by like Argus and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be really fun to see what they do with that show. And yeah, it is. I think it's funny, like right off the bat, to show like, hey, here's 3 characters from Superman that I put in this show, because it was such a struggle to get the Justice League people to show up at the very, very end of the first season of Peacemaker. Even though he's like, I'm making this show for you, DC. What do you want? I think him being like, no, we can do whatever we want now. Be fun to see.
I'm really excited to just see how the DCEU unfolds. Obviously, super hopeful for Superman this summer, but just to have, like, I think Marvel had to back away from the interconnectivity between the streaming series shows and the theatrical releases. I think DC has the opportunity here to set itself on, like, a pretty steady release schedule that is just enough of what we need and just enough to, like, maintain content quality So like it seems to be in a pretty good spot. If Creature Commandos, like some of that continuity can be what the world looks like in live action and Superman and Creature Commandos. Like, just imagine what it's going to look like once we got Lanterns, you know? Like, to have, like, a Green Lantern movie and show that could tie in with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Like, this could be a really cool universe that actually has some content consistency and it doesn't have these weird pressures that, like, Marvel Studios was under in the advent of Disney Plus, and they weren't able to maintain.
And they can lean on the television expertise of HBO, right?
Yeah.
Who really knows how to make all cool genres of TV as well.
Well, speaking of television, right now going on in New York are the Upfronts for different TV networks. Today was NBC Universal, and happened about an hour ago was Fox. I don't know if they put out I've been hoping for an Alien Earth. A full trailer is what I'm hoping to see. But coming up tomorrow, Disney has their Upfronts at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you're not familiar with the concept of Upfronts, it's an old tradition that goes back where the TV networks would kind of get together all the different local stations and say, here's all the shows we have coming this year. Now, in the age of like the internet and constant entertainment news coverage, they're less surprising because the Upfronts would be a place where you debut new shows, all that kind of stuff. Now we usually know what's coming, and it's not as much a surprise anymore. But with Disney's panel at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, we're hoping we'll see an Ironheart trailer. There's been some rumors online that we'll see an Ironheart trailer tomorrow, and I think that's the next project, Marvel Studios television project coming this year. It's less than a month away, and they haven't really put out anything, or a little more than a month.
6 weeks away.
6 weeks away.
But this is, I think, the reason why Disney Plus has waited this long is I think they've admitted that whatever their strategy was to keep up with Netflix during the streaming wars, it wasn't enough to overcome Netflix's market share. And Netflix won whatever. I don't even think it was a streaming war. I think it was a streaming battle, and Netflix never really ceded any ground. In terms of just number of subscriptions and profitability.
I think they were just it's like YouTube. They were in the business early of that technology and kind of grandfathered themselves in.
Right. And I think when it comes to budgets, when it comes to marketing cycles, and when it comes to release schedules, you are now seeing in 2025 Disney Plus adhere to that approach. Daredevil Born Again had many weeks that had 2 episodes at the same time. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man had batch releases and/or 3 episodes at a time. And a lot of us in the media are like grumbling about that because, it makes it hard to talk about this stuff week to week. And I do think weekly is like how I prefer my content. But I think we have to acknowledge that many people who consume their content on streaming, a lot of streaming customers do prefer binge releases this way. Maybe just a few episodes at a time. But like regardless of whether or not I would have preferred Andor week to week, I still would have preferred Andor week to week. The numbers on our videos are better than they were for season 1, right? Like we are seeing more people watch our videos, and I think that's just something about people who use technology have different behavior than a lot of us who make our livings talking about these releases. And so I don't know. I don't want to. I'm trying to be better about just like seeing the people who are watching our content and just like trying to meet you guys where you are, and not say that it has to be a particular way. And so I think that's what Ironheart is. We're 6 weeks out from it, and when it comes to Disney Plus titles, we didn't see a trailer for Daredevil Born Again until 6 weeks out. We saw it at events. We saw it leaked online, but they didn't put it on YouTube until 6 weeks out. X-Men 97 last year, they released a trailer 6 weeks out. The exception was Agatha. They released that in July ahead of a September release. But even then, it was only 2 months, 3 months out. So I think that's going to be the name of the game. I don't think we're going to see Wonder Man. I don't think we'll see a trailer for that until like September, October, or something like that.
Now, do you think the trailer, presumably we do get a trailer tomorrow or soon thereafter, you think it's the same trailer they showed, as we were joking earlier, years ago?
I imagine there's new stuff in that trailer. At D23 in 2022, this was August 2022, Erik and I were there, and they showed like a sizzle reel trailer for Ironheart, which at the time was set to come out in 2023. That, of course, got pushed back a lot. Have they added new stuff? I don't know. It didn't seem like they ever did any reshoots or anything for that show, as far as we know. And people love reporting on Marvel reshoots. Didn't seem like they ever did any reshoots.
Yeah.
If anything, they might have
updated the CGI.
Yeah, cleaned up some stuff here and there. But I imagine the trailer will be different. I barely remember what was in the trailer. I'm sure there'll be like a little more stuff in there, some newer stuff, and it might depend on how they want the feeling of the trailer to be.
Yeah. I think they could. I think they could release that same trailer. It was a pretty good trailer. It was fun.
It got people hyped up for it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to get these characters going again. See Riri Williams again. Well, I think that covers our headlines for today. Like I said, stay tuned this week. We'll be live on Wednesday because we want to talk about the Superman trailer, which we know we're getting on Wednesday, ahead of Warner Brothers Upfronts, which are coming on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping at those Upfronts from Warner Brothers, we might hear a little bit more about some of these other DCU shows, especially like Lanterns, which is probably still filming.
Yeah. No, I think they're wrapped.
Production
I think
on that?
they're wrapped.
Wow. They're wrapped on that. We know that Supergirl, which is a movie, not a show, but that's wrapped also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and James Gunn is like writing a new thing now. He has said it's not any of the announced titles. There's some other new thing that he is writing. The man is a machine. Oh, to not have kids. The things I could get done. I have no regrets. I have no regrets because he's the best thing in my life. But I'm just saying.
James Gunn?
Yes. He gave me this hoodie.
Make sure to give us a follow here on YouTube and join us on Twitch where we do videos like this live. You can follow at Breakroom on all our social channels, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, wherever you can find us. We'll catch you next time. Late escape us. Goodbye.